activities. I would like to say that we have a long history of collaboration between our universities, mainly University of Chapingo, Department of Irrigation and Department of Mechanical Engineering there, and my department, Biosystems Engineering, maybe several decades of collaboration. We had previously students from University of Chapingo here receiving their degrees, PhD degrees, from my department, Biosystems Engineering, and also other department here at the University of Arizona. The names that comes to my mind includes our colleague Dr. Mauricio Carrillo, Dr. Efren Fitz, Dr. Armando Barreto Munoz, Dr. Jose Olaf Valencia Islas. He will be presenting you also about his activities and his experiences. I work closely with Jose Olaf in our lab here at the Controlled Environment Ag Center, but I know Dr. Jose Reyes also received his degree from University of Arizona, as well as we have another student, PhD student currently in the program, Eduardo Jimenez Hernandez, who is about to defend and receive his PhD degree. So we have a huge history and collaboration with colleagues from University of Chapingo. My experiences and my collaboration started when I joined to the University of Arizona Biosystems Engineering back in 2007. At that time, our department head was Dr. Donald Slag, who has been a significant, actually strong advocate of our collaborations with the University of Chapingo. And he introduced me to the University of Chapingo, as well as our collaborations with students coming from University of Arizona. Back in 2009 and 2012, I had the pleasure of working with Dr. Efren Fitz Rodriguez as a postdoctoral researcher in our lab. We started a collaboration between US and Israel on greenhouse ventilation and cooling. And it was a productive working relationship and collaboration through that project with Dr. Efren Fitz. He's currently a faculty member in your university there. Together with Dr. Efren Fitz Rodriguez, we developed advanced climate control strategies for greenhouses, for cooling and ventilation in semi-arid regions. This was I believe, one of the actually earlier demonstrations of greenhouse and crop energy balance modeling embedded environmental control strategies for greenhouse climate control. And later on, of course, as part of the technical tours that are organized by our colleagues in University of Chapingo, mainly Department of Irrigation, Dr. Mauricio Carrillo used to bring the students from University of Chapingo on a regular basis every year. We had that opportunity. We have always been excited, and we are always excited to receive students from your university to Controlled Environment Agriculture Center, as well as University of Arizona. These tours included technical tour of our facilities, presentations, and discussions about our ongoing activities here, and maybe some opportunities for students to visit us, maybe for internships and other maybe graduate program related activities. Later on, during one of those years, back in 2010, I had the opportunity to host and welcome 4 undergraduate students as summer interns in our lab here. And we worked with them as part of the greenhouse research project that I described previously, with Dr. Efren Fitz Rodriguez also in the project, Dr. Federico Villarreal Guerrero, and one of those students here, Eduardo Jimenez Hernandez, was among those 4 undergraduate students during that summer. And later, Eduardo applied for a graduate school to come to University of Arizona, and he has been here with us in the PhD program working on remote sensing applications and irrigation and water management, drought management emphasis, and hopefully he will be defending and graduating very soon. Later on, I was able to work with another undergraduate student from University of Chapingo, Victor Hugo, who stayed with us for about 2 or 3 weeks as an intern. And together with Victor, we worked on the development of our off-grid greenhouse, photovoltaics powered greenhouse system to grow crops during that time. And later on, most recently, back in 2020, I believe, as part of our dual degree programs between University of Chapingo and University of Arizona, we have that collaboration for a dual degree PhD program, actually dual PhD programs. Jose Olaf joined us to the Biosystems Engineering Department to perform his research activity, and his emphasis was on optimization of greenhouse type solar dryer system through modeling studies and experimental studies, validating his modeling effort. And he graduated back in 22. And at that time, we had another opportunity with funding for a research from United States Department of Agriculture. And Jose Olaf joined us as a postdoctoral researcher, and he is all currently one of our team leads in the project that we are working together on artificial intelligence integrated greenhouse climate control systems. I have known my colleague Dr. Ireneo Lopez Cruz. Is a faculty member in the Agricultural Mechanical Engineering Department there in the university for a long time, more than 20 years of our collaboration under the International Society of Horticultural Sciences, Division of Horticultural Engineering. He was one of our working group chair for the Greenhouse Environmental and Climate Control Working Group. So I have known him for a long time. He's a great person, and we enjoyed our collaborations under ISHS. And most recently, Dr. Lopez Cruz and Dr. Efren Fitz, as well as Dr. Raquel Salazar. Dr. Salazar is also one of your faculty members at the University of Chapingo. They successfully hosted international symposium on greenhouse systems and technologies in Cancun, Mexico, back in October 2023. This was a great conference for us to bring together expertise from around the world and talk about controlled environment agriculture systems. And I had the pleasure of attending with Jose Olaf as he made two presentations from his research activities. So throughout the years, our collaborations with University of Chapingo has been really rewarding. And I look forward to furthering these collaborations, working with our faculty members as well as students. We are in the process of extending and renewing our dual PhD programs to further and strengthen our collaborations with your university and the graduate programs there. I would like to say that we are all facing same grand challenges, and we have to work together and collaborate. As the population is increasing, their diets are changing. We are in need of keeping people happy and healthy. We are limited in terms of our resources. In our case, water is one of the major limiting factor. We have less of that, so we have to produce more food with less amount of resources available. The arable land is declining, but also climate is so dynamic, it's changing. So we have to adapt to these changes and consider integration of systems that are complementary each other. We will definitely have field agricultural, traditional agriculture, providing staple food to feed people. But I believe controlled environment agriculture with greenhouses as well as others, such as indoor vertical farming systems, will support our activities as we try to meet those grant challenges. Why controlled environment agriculture? Controlled environment agriculture is an innovative method of growing plants with integration of engineering and plant sciences and environmental controls that allows us to create an optimal aerial and root zone environments, focusing on production benefits such as predictable crop yield and timing, consistently available produce with high quantity and quality, high resource use efficiency, especially when it comes to water, along with that fertilizer and nutrients used, no pesticides used in the production, and it has a minimum environmental impact. These are the significant opportunities as well as benefits of using controlled environment agriculture. When you consider controlled environment agriculture, there are a variety of technologies out there. Low-tech greenhouses, maybe high tunnels, no automation, no mechanization, but maybe some automation embedded to medium or high-tech greenhouses and fully controlled indoor vertical farming systems. It really depends on the expected outcome from the production system. So there are diversities when it comes to technology selection. The technology selection should be adaptive and really meeting the market demand, quality, yield expectations, the consumer expectations from that production outcome. So the greenhouse technologies and industries are mature and advancing. They have been around the world for many, many decades. So their profitability, their economics, unit economics have been proven. And this technology, this industry is advancing. And in Mexico, I believe the protected cultivation, especially with greenhouses, are really stronger and that industry is growing. I believe in Mexico, we have close to right now maybe 30,000 hectares of land under protected cultivation. The climate is really favorable. There's a skill set, there's the background there, and the market proximity makes it really attractive to practice controlled environment agriculture with greenhouses, mainly in Mexico. The vertical farming industry is a new industry and it's fast evolving in North America. And it brings some opportunities as long as the market is determined, is identified actually, and there is a price point, a premium price point for the products that are demanded by the consumers. There are locations where the vertical farming can make sense and become really profitable, especially in harsh climates, extreme climates where the light is a limiting factor. For example, there's not much light to grow crops in greenhouse systems. So with all of this said, I have the pleasure of working with an excellent group of faculty, staff, and students here at the Controlled Environment Agriculture Center and Biosystems Engineering Department in the University of Arizona. We are a multidisciplinary research, education, outreach, and extension program under the University of Arizona. As part of our centers program, we have research focused on specialized greenhouse covering materials using, for example, wavelength selective coverings. So we can shift the wavelength and achieve some benefits from the production yield and quality, as well as minimizing resources used, such as water, nutrients, as well as energy. In this case, my colleague, Dr. Giacomelli, works on quantum dots, embedded, spectrally selective covering materials. Another colleague here has an expertise on mushroom production in controlled environments. We are interested in various mushroom species, the effects of environment, humidity, the temperature, the light quality for mushroom yield and quality attributes. Another program here at the center is on aquaponics. This is the integration of aquaculture, growing, producing fish, tilapia or shrimp or other type of aquaculture species integrated with food production systems such as maybe leafy greens or other fruit and crops, so we can recycle nutrient resources and nutrients to make these systems more sustainable. Another program, research program we have here at the Controlled Environment Agriculture Center is about converting food waste into proteins and edible insects. And one of our colleagues, Dr. Gagi Davido, is focuses on edible insects for human consumption and as a feed to be used in aquaculture systems. So overall, our research emphasis is really on resource use efficiency. And resource use efficiency is defined as the ratio of the production outcome, mainly yield and quality attributes, to the resources that are used in the production system. When you consider controlled environment agriculture, these production inputs are energy, water, carbon dioxide, fertilizer, and labor. On the other hand, the outcomes are edible biomass. This is our main interest, but also we have some non-edible biomass from the plants that can be converted into maybe a resource input such as fertilizer, maybe through composting. And also nutrients and water in controlled environment agriculture, both greenhouses and vertical farms, we have the ability to recycle, recirculate the drainage water from the system and treat it and then reuse it. So that makes it really highly resource use efficient system to be able to recycle nutrients and water. But in a fully controlled system, such as maybe vertical farms, we have the ability to harvest the water or condense the water from air and make maybe potable water or maybe a water that can be brought back to the irrigation system. So really our emphasis is on resource use efficiency, and that should be the metric for any type of agricultural system, not just the yield outcome, but what goes into that production system as a resource to be used. In terms of controlled environment agriculture, one of the best, one of the significant benefit is that we have complete control on both demand conditions for environment for plants to grow, but also for the supply conditions where the water and nutrients are located. So we have full control, almost full control of both demand and supply conditions, and that helps us to achieve precision production, precision resource use in controlled environment agriculture center, in controlled environment agriculture systems. But understanding of sensing and also understanding plant microclimate interactions also helps us to develop energy efficient and resource conserving control and management practices in controlled environment agriculture systems. So in my program here at the Controlled Environment Agriculture Center, I focus on resource use efficiency. One of the projects that we have currently funded through United States Department of Agriculture, which is a multi-state collaboration project, as we are focusing on co-optimization of environmental variables and improving resources efficiencies in vertical farming systems. Vertical farms are energy intensive. The electricity used for lighting, as well as electricity is used for cooling and dehumidification. So we're looking into how can we co-optimize these variables? How can we find thresholds with light intensities, maybe CO2 enrichment or temperature, humidity, and the way we control the planting density so we can really save mainly from electrical energy. So this is kind of the emphasis that we have as part of our vertical farming research program. One of the other bottlenecks of this industry, vertical farming, is that the environment is not uniform. The environment is not uniform in this three-dimensional production space because you have three-dimensional growing, multi-tier growing systems where there are inlets and exits where conditioned air comes in to the production system and leaves the production system, and that creates non-uniformity. So one of our recent research using computational fluid dynamics is a fluid dynamics modeling and simulation effort that analyzed various air distribution system designs for warehouse-based vertical farming systems. As you can see, we were able to develop some alternative vertical flow units with perforated air tubes that are positioned in between LED lighting system, pushing air downward into the canopy to enhance airflow and also to enhance exchange processes like transpiration from the plant or gas exchange that helps us to achieve higher production qualities. Uh, uh, Currently, we are really focusing on vertical airflow to enhance plant transpiration with leafy greens, mainly lettuce crop, as we are trying to mitigate tip burn, which is a calcium deficiency induced plant disorder that really limits the marketable yield when it comes to growing leafy greens such as lettuce in vertical farming systems. And one of the way to prevent that tip burn issue is providing enough airflow, desirably through vertical airflow, so we can stimulate transpiration, water diffusion from the stomates of the plants, and contribute to nutrient uptake from the nutrient solution to the plant to prevent that tip burn occurrences. So our students, most recently Chris Kaufman here, graduate student, master student, and right now Eric Desetiki are working on these research emphasis. But as I said before, really the metric should be on resource use efficiency. In a vertical farming system like this, you have the most critical factor being light intensity. As you increase the light, for example, here, the daily light integral, how much light is delivered during a given day for the plant is called daily light integral in terms of photosynthetic active radiation. As you enhance the light intensity, of course, that is linearly related to the total yield outcome that is achieved. However, this brings the need for higher and significant amount of electricity used. However, when you consider the electrical use efficiency, the amount of fresh produce yield versus how much electrical energy provided for the production, which is called electrical use efficiency, as you can see, the numbers, the metric looks very, very similar. So what does this mean? In this case, a producer, a grower, or decision maker can base their decision making and management practices based on electrical use efficiency and then look into the unit economics here. Maybe it might be more desirable to produce at lower light intensities with, of course, some sacrifice from the yield, however, achieve comparable electrical use efficiencies as long as the profitability makes really sense. Another emphasis in the vertical farming application research we have is phytometric feedback-based decision support tools. So we are really interested in plants controlling their environment through computer vision, machine vision. We are trying to monitor plant health and growth and then use that information so we can adjust the environmental set points to achieve resource savings. One of our former master's student, Casey Shashteen, also adapted a greenhouse lettuce plant growth model to vertical farming applications. And using the model that he developed, we were able to assess or evaluate various environmental control what-if scenarios because it makes it is so time inefficient and very costly to study so many environmental set points when it comes to temperature, the light intensity, and carbon dioxide levels to understand how the plant would respond or what type of yield you would achieve. So using a modeling approach here, this is a mechanistic model, we were able to evaluate various scenarios of these temperature and light and carbon dioxide and predict crop yield and growth. So once you have that, then you can really first understand the crop behavior and also then create environmental control strategies that could lead to energy savings when it comes to vertical farming system. As you can see, this is one example here using the model outcome. We created this scenario, for example, what if we change the CO2 level from 500 ppm level to 1100 ppm level by reducing the light intensity from 13 DLI, daily light integral, to 11 daily light integral, which gives us a lot of savings from electrical energy by enhancing the CO2 level in the vertical farming system to achieve the same amount of yield. So this line here represents the same yield outcome, fresh produce yield outcome for different scenarios that you can entertain, different scenarios you can actually use in a vertical farming growing system. Another application using this model was that can we perform a dynamic control of CO2 during the growth stages of the crop, not just constant injection of CO2 from transplanting to all the way to the harvest level, but elevating it, increasing it intermittently during the growth stages so we can save from the resources used. So those are the kind of what if scenarios that we were able to achieve. We have also focused on comparing energy use efficiency between greenhouses and indoor plant factory systems, depending on the locality where you're located in a climatic region. So our studies with different scenarios, again, different layers, multi-tier systems in a vertical farm compared to greenhouses, and 6 different locations, I believe, in this case, as you can see here, uh, very hot and dry climates like Riyadh, Abu Dhabi, or very humid and hot climates such as in Miami, or very dry and hot climate, Phoenix, Arizona, or very cold and dry climates such as Seattle and Duluth, United States, comparing the electrical use efficiency. As you can see, we demonstrated that greenhouses, especially located in high light intensity regions, are still very effective when it comes to energy use efficiency and compared to vertical farming systems. However, in cold climates where the light is low and not so much available, then we have similar energy use efficiencies when you compare vertical farming systems to greenhouse systems. So it really depends on the location, the market, and also, of course, the premium price point for vertical farming systems to be considered. I would like to say that plant phenotype or the outcome from production with plants and plant phenotypes are related to, or they are function of plant genetics, environment, and management. We can do so much in terms of the physics, in terms of the engineering of the systems when it comes to environmental controls and management practices through engineering and physics. But there's also limitation when it comes to physics. So I really believe that some genetic improvements in plant sciences, some genetic innovation and improvements will also enable us to achieve greater resources efficiencies and sustainable agricultural production systems. Looking towards future, we have to also think circular systems, integrated systems. For example, where a production system might generate excess and surplus product. When you consider a mushroom production system in an indoor vertical farming system, for example, like this, or maybe in a greenhouse, there is a significant amount of carbon dioxide emission available from the mushroom system that needs to be cleared from that environment, that needs to be taken away from that environment. Maybe that CO2, excess CO2, can be used as a source for carbon dioxide enrichment in a vertical farming system growing leafy greens to enhance photosynthesis. And in the plant production system, there's usually high levels of humidity and water in the atmosphere that can be harvested, and that water can be recycled either within the vertical farming system, growing plants, or maybe provided to mushroom production system where you need elevated and higher water content in the air, humidity. So this type of circularity can be used to make these systems, agricultural production systems, more efficient. And I think we had that opportunity really nicely in controlled environment agriculture systems. The automation and robotics is really trendy, and we will see more penetration, more integration of automation and mechatronics in vertical farming systems as well as in greenhouse systems. Already appreciating automation and robotics in controlled environment agriculture. There are emerging automation technologies such as with Internet of Things and cloud-based services and data management that are benefiting to growers, producers, and the control systems, helping us to improve resources efficiency. Other emerging automation technologies are automated crop diagnostics and decision support systems, for example, camera systems and computer vision systems, performing crop registrations and crop health and growth monitoring. We will see more integration of these systems, enabling to improve resource use efficiencies. Robotics is becoming more advanced, and the costs are going lower and lower. So we will see more integration of robotics in controlled environment agriculture systems. When you consider environmental controls in CEA, we need to really think about plants as the focus. We need to focus on timely detection of plant health and growth, and also consider decision support systems and automation as well. Another emerging control technology is around augmented reality and virtual reality. I believe we will see some benefits of using these technologies as part of innovation and production, as well as education, maybe remote consultancy and advising to support growers in controlled environment agriculture systems. Artificial intelligence in controlled environment agriculture is becoming more attractive now. We are in the early stages of this research effort, as the artificial intelligence is combining computer sciences and math and statistics and domain knowledge. I see greater opportunities in the AI integration and machine learning in controlled environment agriculture. And we are currently funded through United States Department of Agriculture in another multi-state research program here, as we are collaborating with our colleagues. Jose Olaf Valencia Islas is our postdoctoral researcher, is leading our effort here at the University of Arizona. We are really focusing on data and modeling embedded integrated environmental control strategies to enhance resource use, mainly in our case, for example, energy and water use in greenhouse production, because traditional control strategies really relying on fixed set points to adjust the conditions where the outdoor environment and plants are so dynamic. So it really makes sense to integrate and take advantage of artificial intelligence and machine learning embedded to climate controls. And 3 days ago, last week actually, we demonstrated an example of AI embedded neural network and model predictive control embedded control strategy with Jose Olaf to our participants of the recent short course last week as a kind of demonstration. It worked out really nicely. I'm looking forward to advancing that further with Jose Olaf. Can artificial intelligence do as well as farmers in the future? Well, I don't think that artificial intelligence will replace the farmers or the growers, but I believe artificial intelligence will empower the plants that we are growing and empower the growers for improved decision making and control strategies and resource use. As part of our research programs here, I have also been interested in energy producing greenhouse systems, for example, with photovoltaics, different kinds of photovoltaics, wavelength selective covering materials, organic photovoltaic films, because it makes sense to co-produce water, so co-produce plants as well as food and electrical energy within the same footprint of greenhouses. So we have been working on this area with wavelength selective also covering materials. In this case, this covering material here blocks the near infrared portion of the light spectrum that creates a heat buildup in the greenhouse, demanding greater electrical energy for cooling. So we have been working in these systems as part of our research programs. So all of the things that I showed you in terms of our research emphasis are pretty much focusing on food production and resource conservation and food production on earth-based systems and terrestrial applications. But historically, here at the University of Arizona, we have bioregenerative life support systems research programs for space horticulture, as we're aiming to colonize space We will need food, we will need oxygen, and we will need water to survive there. So this research program on biochemistry life support system, here we have demonstration of concepts for both food production systems as well as control strategies to demonstrate the possibilities and understand the system behaviors for space horticulture. So with that, I would like to end my presentation, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions. Again, I really appreciate the kind invitation and to be part of your program today. If there are any questions, and if we have time, I will be more than happy to answer your questions or have a conversation with you.
Yeah, if there are questions, I can help translating.
Thank you, Olaf.
Si hay preguntas, si alguien quiere hacer una pregunta en español, no hay ningún problema, yo puedo traducirla. Let's wait and see.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Murat, for the time and for helping us with this presentation.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited. I see a lot of students there in the auditorium. I believe, is this a auditorium on campus?
Yeah, it is on campus. It's a small auditorium. It's at the entrance of Chapingo, actually, but yeah, there are a lot of students out there.
Excellent. And I believe the attendees are all graduate students or undergrads as well?
Probably mixed.
A mix.
Undergrad and grad, yeah.
Yes. Exciting.
Pregunta, ahorita se las van a hacer.
Okay, está muy bien, gracias.
Yes, I have a question. Hi, Murat, this is Efrain.
Efrain.
How are you doing?
Good to hear from you. Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Very good. I have a question. This is probably more for students. Given your nice presentation and all the different projects that you presented, I can see that there is a huge trend in terms of the content more towards artificial intelligence, data driven or data management, or to making more efficient decisions in these kind of production systems. Do you think that given that we are in an agricultural engineering program as well as there is in the U of A, the graduate program, do you think that those kind of topics should be more required to prepare for future graduate students that are more into these artificial intelligence techniques, data analytics, and data science topics? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thank you, Efrain. I really appreciate it. That's a great question, and I am so excited to see you there and to hear from you. I believe Irene is sitting next to you, maybe. I see from the camera there. Hey, Irene. And thank you. Good to see you all. The agriculture has already become so data centric, so digital, and we will see further need from our graduates to be able to understand what that data means and really understand the plants, plants, growing plants, as well as the systems and technologies that are used. And that brings us to the interest with artificial intelligence. I believe the critical part of this is to educate students, train students with math and statistics and modeling and physics. So they have the fundamentals. Those are the fundamentals needed for an effective implementation of AI, machine learning based applications. So I think that's the first need. But what I believe is that the first most effective applications of AI will incorporate understanding the currently available data. There are so many a huge amount of data sets that are available when you consider, Efren, like greenhouses and vertical farms, those crop registration data that are being collected or other types of data coming from sensors. Only a portion of those are leveraged. Maybe 3 to 5% of that data is leveraged as part of decision making and control applications. I think we can have huge benefit using AI and modeling and statistics there to better understand the system's behavior to improve resource efficiency. So when it comes to the educational programs, definitely I would love to see more modeling courses on modeling and mechatronics and statistics, bioinformatics, for example, embedded to our engineering programs. Here at the University of Arizona, back in 2018, we initiated a degree program called Biosystems Analytics and Technology in Biosystems Engineering. So we have engineering degree program, but also this Biosystems Informatics Technology program with emphasis on using data and correlating data to biological systems and generating that data. So there are a lot of opportunities there. I think this will be a trend, and students with that background will be strongly positioned in the marketplace out there.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Professor. Thank you for the presentation. What are the main challenges of the production of energy and plants in the same place? I see here shows some of that.
I wonder if you can repeat the question, Jose. There was an echo.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear
My
it.
question was, what is the main challenges in the production of plants and energy in the same place?
Okay,
So what are the
main challenges of growing crops in terms of energy use?
Yeah, with the solar.
You mean challenges with energy in greenhouses or in vertical farms, or?
No, when in the combination, when you try to produce energy with solar panels and
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the challenges of energy production when you incorporate photovoltaics to greenhouse systems, right? Yes, that's a great question. Actually, when it comes to greenhouse production, what we really want is, the sufficient amount of light transmission through the greenhouse cover and then and to the plants. So there is a almost linear relationship when it comes to the availability of light or accumulated light and yield outcome in greenhouse production. So when you think about that, it is really counterintuitive to place anything on top of the crop and the greenhouse cover, right? That may prevent light penetration to the greenhouses. But there are technologies that are advancing and that enables us to incorporate these technologies. Some of them are wavelength selective. Some of them are semi-transparent. Some of these technologies allows wavelength shifting and filtering of some of the light. In some locations in our climate, for example, after a certain time of the year, in April, in most cases here in Tucson, Arizona, we start using shade curtains because light is so abundant and that demands for cooling energy. So using these photovoltaic systems in a strategic way, we can prevent the excessive light penetrating without sacrificing too much from the yield outcome. There are technologies, as I mentioned to you, that blocks the near infrared portion of the light, preventing the light penetration in that spectrum, and in turn, that allows us to reduce the electrical energy for cooling, but also with the environment created, plants use or consumption for water, along with that nutrients, if you consider a hydroponic system, are also optimized using that technology. So there are potential opportunities with these photovoltaics and wavelength selective materials. We just need to focus on the durability, the efficiencies of power generation from these systems, as well as resources efficiency. As I mentioned earlier, yes, when we incorporate something, we may sacrifice from yield a little bit, But if it makes sense to incorporate that technology that is enabling us to achieve significant resource savings, electricity, water, and nutrients, and other labor in some cases, then I think there is an opportunity for us to do that. Some of the technologies I showed you as part of research activities with photovoltaics, for example, organic photovoltaic films, that are very new technologies. Their efficiencies are anywhere from 2 to 3%, very low, but their durability under high light intensities and harsh climates might be limited. So better lamination, better integration installation is needed. So there are still research questions when it comes to sort of photovoltaics. What kind of crops, what kind of crop architecture needs to be incorporated when you're growing with photovoltaic systems? So we'll see these research questions being addressed, but hopefully economically incorporate some of these technologies. I have seen photovoltaics on shade curtain, semi-transparent shade curtains deployed in the greenhouse where you can shade the crop but also produce electricity. So there are some practical, economical, ready-to-go applications already, but in the future term, we will see different or innovative incorporation of these PVs in greenhouse systems. Great question. Thank you very much for asking.
Ya no tenemos más preguntas por el momento.
Okay, yeah, there are no more questions.
Okay. There are no more questions. Jose, is that what you said?
Yep, no more questions.
Okay, well, thank you so much again for the invitation. It was very nice seeing you on the camera. Students, I wish you best of success with your studies, and I hope that our roads will cross each other at some point, and you're always welcome to visit us here at the University of Arizona, and we'd love to see some of you joining us for the graduate programs, and I'm very excited to see my friends and my colleagues in the audience there, a friend, Dr. Lopez Cruz, and looking forward to seeing you soon again. Thank you so much. I wish you a fruitful forum this week.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Actually, we want to say thank you very much for all the information you gave us, and also because it was really enlightening, all the details that you gave. Thank you for answering the question, and it was a pleasure to have this interaction with you.
Thank you. That pleasure belongs to me. Thank you so much again. I wish you all a great week. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for your time, Doctor. Y los invitamos a tomar una pausa para escuchar el medio. En unos momentos más iniciaremos la perspectiva del foro. Gracias.
¿Se acuerdan?